The headline hit at 6:02 a.m., sending a ripple through the global financial system before most people had even poured their first cup of coffee. Canada goes it alone. Ottawa unveils a sweeping trillion-dollar economic sovereignty plan, the likes of which the world had never seen from the usually reserved nation. The world of trade jolted awake as investors and governments scrambled to understand the implications. In Toronto, traders froze mid-sip, their screens lighting up with urgent alerts. In Washington, political aides scrambled, phones ringing off the hook. This wasn't just another policy announcement, it was a declaration, a bold statement that the status quo was no longer acceptable. Canada, long the quiet partner in North American trade, was drawing a new line in the sand, signaling a dramatic shift in its global posture. The message was clear: the old rules were over, and a new era was beginning. Prime Minister Trudeau, flanked by key ministers, spoke of ambition, not anger, of vision, not vengeance. He described a Canada ready to forge its own destiny, powered by homegrown innovation, advanced technology, and a web of new global connections. This was no knee-jerk move. It was a calculated, long-term strategy, years in the making, designed to secure Canada's future in a rapidly changing world. For decades, Canada and the US were two sides of the same coin, partners, allies, and economic twins. But on this December morning, that perception shattered, replaced by a new reality that demanded attention. The plan called for massive investments in artificial intelligence, quantum computing, next-generation batteries, and cutting-edge agri-tech, sectors poised to define the next century. The goal was clear: a self-reliant, globally competitive Canada, able to stand tall on the world stage. The US-Canada relationship would remain important, but it would no longer be exclusive. Canada was opening new doors. Canada was stepping out of the shadow, ready to define its own path. Markets were shocked, then intrigued, as Canadian companies surged and analysts scrambled to adjust their forecasts. Suddenly, everyone was talking about the Canadian model, a new blueprint for economic independence. Years of quiet preparation, confidential meetings, and strategic planning had led to this moment of transformation. This wasn't a gamble, it was a revolution, a turning point in Canadian history. Even the most disruptive political forces would struggle to undo it. The world was watching, and nothing would ever be the same. To truly grasp Canada's recent economic pivot, we need to look back at the pivotal role NAFTA played in shaping the nation's destiny. For more than 3 decades, NAFTA stood as the backbone of North America's economic engine, driving growth and integration across the continent. Signed in 1994, the North American Free Trade Agreement created a vast free trade zone, linking Canada, the United States, and Mexico in an unprecedented economic partnership. For Canada, NAFTA was transformative, tearing down trade barriers, opening the massive US market, and giving Canadian businesses new opportunities to grow and compete. Supply chains became truly continental. A single car's parts might cross the border several times before final assembly, reflecting deep economic integration. Oil, gas, technology, and manufactured goods flowed freely in both directions, fueling prosperity and innovation on both sides of the border. This close relationship created millions of jobs, fostered deep cooperation, and built a sense of shared economic destiny between the countries. By the 2020s, an astonishing 75% of Canadian exports were destined for the US, making the American market absolutely vital for Canadian prosperity. Every single day, trade between the two countries was worth billions of dollars, supporting businesses large and small. This deep economic dependency brought prosperity, stability, and a higher standard of living for many Canadians, but it also made Canada vulnerable, its fortunes tied closely to the ups and downs of its southern neighbor. When the US economy soared, so did Canada's, riding the wave of American growth and demand. But when the US economy sputtered or faced crisis, Canada suffered too, with job losses and economic uncertainty rippling northward. For years, the benefits of this close relationship seemed to outweigh the risks, and most Canadians enjoyed the rewards. Yet few could have predicted the political shocks and trade tensions that would soon shake this foundation. The deep integration that once seemed like Canada's greatest strength was suddenly revealed as a potential risk. Faced with new uncertainties, Canada would soon be forced to rethink its economic foundation and chart a new course. A new, more independent path was on the horizon, one that would redefine Canada's place in the world economy. The first tremors came during the Trump era. America First replaced partnership. Tariffs and trade wars followed. The U.S., once a champion of free trade, became unpredictable. Renegotiating NAFTA into USMCA was bruising. Canada fought to protect its industries from U.S. protectionism. Steel and aluminum tariffs, justified as national security, shocked Canadians. Political turmoil in the U.S. became a constant threat. A single tweet could shake entire Canadian sectors. The COVID-19 pandemic exposed deeper cracks. The U.S. blocked exports of critical medical supplies to Canada. Even after reversal, trust was broken. Canada realized it couldn't depend on its closest ally for essentials. The need for domestic capacity and secure supply chains became urgent. The old assumption of U.S. reliability was gone. Canada began its great pivot, not building walls, but foundations. The strategy: reduce dependency by strengthening the domestic economy. Massive investments targeted AI, electric vehicles, and battery production. The goal: build entire supply chains at home, from mining to manufacturing. This mines to mobility approach aimed to create high-value jobs and lead in the green economy. The pandemic revealed dangerous reliance on foreign pharmaceuticals. Ottawa rebuilt biomanufacturing, funding new vaccine and medicine facilities. The aim: never beg for life-saving supplies again. Building independent supply chains required government, industry, and research partnerships. Incentives, infrastructure, and innovation became the new national policy. The goal wasn't isolation, but strength, so Canada could engage globally as an equal. A modern take on an old Canadian idea: national policy for the 21st century. Canada was ready to stand on its own terms. While fortifying at home, Canada went global. The mantra, go global. The U.S. would remain crucial, but not exclusive. CETA with the EU opened a market of 450 million. Maple syrup producers and tech startups now reach Germany, France, and beyond. Canada deepened ties with Asia through the CPTPP, gaining access to Japan, Australia, and Vietnam. New markets for agriculture and resources reduced reliance on the U.S. Diversification was about more than trade. It was about building alliances. Canada invested in relationships with democratic middle powers. The strategy: a web of economic and political connections for resilience. Canada courted global investment, promoting its stability and innovation. International firms set up shop, further diversifying the economy. Canada became a global hub, less vulnerable to U.S. volatility. The real story of Canada's economic transformation is told by Canadians themselves, in their own words and through their daily lives. Take Maria Flores, a talented software engineer from Waterloo. She once dreamed of making it big in Silicon Valley, like so many before her. But now, Maria leads a thriving Canadian AI startup, serving clients around the world from right here at home. The ambition is here now. I'm working on cutting-edge tech, at home. Maria's story is just one example of how Canadian talent is staying and thriving. Or consider David Chen, a Saskatchewan farmer who once depended on unpredictable U.S. prices for his crops. Today, he exports his wheat and canola to Japan and Germany, reaching new markets and building new relationships. We have options. Stability my father never had. For David, this new economy means security for his family and a future for his children. In Montreal, Isabelle Dubois designs electric aircraft components, pushing the boundaries of green technology. Once a small supplier to U.S. giants, she now sells her innovative parts directly to Europe and Asia, expanding her reach and impact. We're not just a branch plant, we're innovators, building the future here. Isabelle's pride is echoed by her team and community. Even government officials now speak with a new sense of confidence and purpose. Our foreign policy isn't just U.S. policy anymore. We're building a global network. Canada is forging its own path on the world stage. These voices, from tech labs to prairie farms, share a common theme: self-reliance, innovation, and global connection. Canadians are seizing new opportunities both at home and abroad, and building businesses that reach far beyond our borders. The shift is real, and it's deeply personal. It's about families, futures, and dreams realized in every corner of the country. It's about independence, pride, and a new kind of confidence that's growing stronger every day. The economic pivot is changing lives, opening doors, and inspiring hope for generations to come. Canada is writing a new story, one of resilience, innovation, and a future that belongs to all of us. This pivot is about more than numbers. It's about families. The anxiety of relying on a volatile neighbor was real. Parents worried about jobs. Graduates felt forced to leave. Now, investing in domestic industries and diversifying trade creates stable jobs. Businesses gain predictability and flexibility, able to pivot between markets. Innovation keeps talent at home, reversing the brain drain. Young people can build careers and families in their own communities. The benefits are felt at kitchen tables: job security, new opportunities, and resilience. Canada is better prepared for future crises. The human impact: a more secure, optimistic society. Canada's new strategy isn't a breakup with the US, it's a necessary rebalance. The US remains Canada's closest partner and ally. The goal: a healthier, more sustainable relationship. Like diversifying investments, Canada is reducing over-reliance on one market. This makes both economies stronger. Diplomats stress, it's not about turning away, but stepping up as a global partner. A strong, independent Canada is a better ally. The relationship is evolving, from dependency to partnership. A balanced relationship is more stable and durable. This is the start of a new, more mature chapter. Canada's shift is a quiet revolution, a calm, strategic response to global unpredictability. In an age of loud politics, Canada chose competence and foresight. The Canadian model offers a blueprint for other middle powers. Strengthen at home, invest in innovation, diversify abroad. Resilience is as vital as efficiency. Canada's pivot balances efficiency with security. True strength is withstanding storms, not just selling more. The world is watching Canada's bet on itself. This is more than a Canadian story, it's a lesson in adaptation and hope. The quiet revolution may be the blueprint for the future.